Hello, I'm Sarah. I'm an artist with Seint, and today we are going to talk color correction. As you can see, your girl's got a lot going on today. My face, like, it's just ridiculous. So, I have melasma, which I always have. I have this old acne scar from a couple weeks ago when I had a pimple, and it just didn't go away. This one is new, so we're gonna get that covered. I have some freckling, which the freckling doesn't bother me too much. It's just this kind of stuff that really annoys me. I have some redness around my nose, and it's not really pulling on the phone here, but this area is kind of like reddish purpley. So I'm going to try to color correct that. And I'm going to be color correcting with my 3D foundation today instead of Demi. This is just a 3D foundation video. So I'm going to be using two different brushes. The first brush is my detail brush. I love this brush so much. It's awesome for contouring, and this little end you can use to feather on your color corrector. You can use it to put your brightening on, blend it out. It just fits really nicely in those small areas. Then I'm going to be using the 3D brush, which this brush is just awesome. You can use this end for those small areas too, if that's what you prefer. You can use it to put on your contour. You can get medium to full coverage out of this brush, which is what I prefer. If my skin was clear, I would be totally fine with light coverage, but today is not the day. So to get started, I've already primed my face with our setting spray, and I just spray that on our perfector sponge, and I just dab that all over. I've also, every time I do my makeup, I take the Milani eyeshadow primer and I just put it under my eyes to help with creasing, and I put it in my smile lines. Also, I primed my eyelids with my MAC paint pot. I do not have a good, this is not the right color for me. It's soft ochre, but this is the one I have, so I just kind of put that lightly over my eyelids, but you can still see that my orange is shining through. That's okay, because I'm not doing anything really crazy with my eyes today. So let's get started. I am going to start by toning down the redness. So I'm going to take the small end of the detail brush, and I'm going to tap into this color right here. It's a contour, and it's called Aspen. And I am just lightly, you can barely see that on my brush. That's all I need. And I'm just going to start feathering that on my areas of redness. So you can already tell a difference. Like, it's already toning that down. And you don't need much at all. Let's go back into it and do just a smidge on the sides of my nose here. And you don't want this to go on thick because you're still going to put makeup on top of it. So you may think you're not getting coverage here, but you are. Because when you put your main highlight shade on over it, it's gonna really look nice and cover. So I wanted to talk to you guys about this little guy right here. It's purple. When it started, it was red, and it was like a fresh pimple. But now it's been a few days and it's more purple. So if you know your color wheel, the opposite of purple is yellow. So I decided I'm going to try this. Now, I haven't done this before. I'm going to take Wheat. This is a main highlight shade. It's not my color, obviously, but you can see it's very yellow. So I'm going to take this with the small end of my detail brush, and I'm just going to tap, and I'm going to apply that over that pimple. Lightly, because I don't want to overdo it. Okay, as you can see, it toned down the color quite a bit. That's what we want. You cannot get rid of 3D issues on your face, which I say this in almost every video, but I have so many people be like, how do I get rid of my bags? How do I get rid of my pimple? How do I cover, things like that? You can't. You can tone them down, you can make them less noticeable, but you cannot get rid of them with makeup. Unfortunately. I wish we could, but we can't, because These things are textured, like that's raised. I can't do anything about that, but I can tone down the color. So I'm gonna take this wheat as well, and I'm just gonna lightly brush that on my purpley red area on my chin to kind of neutralize that. And again, it looks like I'm really not doing anything. I am. It'll all come together. You don't need to see cakey makeup on your face for it to be working. This stuff is so pigmented. It's 80% pigmentation, whereas like mainstream makeup is 18. So you have to pile that on in order for it to do anything. This stuff, a little bit goes a long way. So I'm just going to leave that as it is. Now, I'm going to go into, I'm going to try this. I did a video on mango the other day, and it does cover pretty well. So I'm just going to take that and tap that over my melasma area here lightly. And as you can see, that already is giving me coverage. This color is really good for color correcting. It's awesome. It's more orange. It covers very well. This little guy is gonna poke through right here because it's so dark. And I'm okay with that. I just wanted to tone it down a little bit. Okay. Let's put a little bit on my nose here. Just a tiny bit, because remember we already did the aspen, so we don't want to cake on too much. Okay, that's it for my color correcting. That's all I'm going to do. Now I'm just going to do my makeup as I normally would. So I'm going to take my contour shade, which I'm using Olive today. And I'm going to take this brush, the big end, and I'm just tapping in on the side. So you can see that. My bristles aren't stuck together, but you can definitely see it. And we're going to put that on the sides of our forehead. And we're going to push it into our hairline. And this is where you would have a shadow. So that's where you put your contour. And I just cleaned this brush, and oh my goodness, like really picked up a lot of product. It's so important to clean your brushes. I don't clean them as often as I should, but clearly I should, because this is like really picking up. Okay, now that's not totally blended out. I mean, I didn't put anything right here yet, so just bear with me on that. Okay, I would normally, sometimes I go ahead and put my contour on, but today, since I'm focusing more on like concealing and color correcting, I'm going to go ahead and go in with my main shade. So I'm going to take, I'm in between shades right now, so I'm going to mix these two together, and I'm just tapping in, and I'm going to start on my jawline and just dab some of that on. Go down my chin. Okay, now I'm going to take and lightly tap that on there. Put that on the cheek area where I color corrected already. Look at that coverage that gave me. So I color corrected a very light layer, and now I'm just taking my main shade and going over what we did. And again, you can still see that blemish, but the color looks really nice. It's not like in your face. So I'm going to take a little bit of my main and put it up here. Notice I don't get too far under my eye area. I'm crepey under there. I tend to crease sometimes. So I'll show you how I cover that area. the garage door. Can you hear the garage door? My husband just got home. Sorry if you can hear that. Okay, now I have not blended any of this yet. I'm gonna take my detail brush and I'm gonna go into just a little bit of this shade and this shade. I'm gonna mix them just barely. And I'm gonna tap that right in the corners of my eyes as my brightener. And you notice I bring it down this way. I don't bring it over yet. We're just gonna let that sit. I'm gonna put a little bit out here too, in the outer corners, in an upward motion to give my eyes some lift. Okay, I'm gonna put some on my Cupid's bow, put some between my eyes. Put a tiny bit on my chin. Okay, now I'm gonna take my 3D brush, the fluffy end, and I'm just gonna pat all over my face here so I can get that all good and blended in, and then we can move on. I don't want to go over this area too much because remember we have a little bit more makeup in that area, so I don't want to sweep it away. And you notice I stipple because all that work we just did, if we were wiping, it would just take it all away. So we don't want that. And I can do little circles up here because I'm just trying to blend my contour with the rest of my makeup. Okay, now I'm gonna take the small end of my detail brush and I'm just gonna pat that out under my eyes. You can see just how crepey. Aging. Good times. Okay, I'm just tapping that out and then bringing it over. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my perfector sponge. It's damp, not wet. It just feels cold. We're just gonna pat over all that we just did. I'm steering clear of this area. This will also help not only press your makeup into your skin, but it also helps to pick up any excess product. So like, let's say I put too much product here. This will help pick it up without like ripping it all off of our face. Okay, now I'm gonna go back into my contour. This eyebrow is like being crazy. What is happening? Anyway, I'm gonna grab my detail brush. I'm gonna go back into my contour shade. And I'm just gonna put that right on the underside of my cheekbone. Tapping it on right on the underside. And then I'm gonna take whatever's left on my brush and I'm just gonna hit my nose, flip it over and kind of blend that together. Put a little bit here. Okay, now we're gonna blend that out and then we're just going to tap. This stuff is so easy to blend. You can't mess it up. If you put it where you don't want it, just blend it away. Still tapping, being mindful of this area that we color corrected, so we don't really want to go in that area with our contour. And you just blend it until you like how it looks. I'm gonna flick up a little bit here to kind of get that blended. Now, personally, I like a more noticeable contour. You can make this softer, you can blend this part, but I like that line right there. So I'm gonna leave that the way it is. We're gonna go into our blush. And I think today, what color is this? Pink grapefruit. Nice springy color. Spring is right around the corner. So I'm excited. Taking the fluffy end, just gonna tap into that. And I'm gonna put that starting at my apples and just kind of blending back. You can apply your blush wherever you want. You can bring it up here, but just, I like to blend it in with that contour. Same thing over here, and I'm not putting it directly on this spot. Of course, I kind of need to because it's right in the way. Let's see what happens. Let's just do it. And then if I need to go over it, I will, but it's a really pretty color. Now I'm gonna go into Carousel. This color hardly ever gets used because it takes a lot of this color to show up, but it looks so pretty. You can mix it with any of your lip and cheeks, like top any of your lip and cheeks with this color. So I'm actually going to, which end? I'll take this end, and I'm gonna swipe. And I always say don't swipe, but I'm swiping this one. Okay, see that? Smile. I'm just gonna tap that over what I just did, and it just gives like the prettiest sheen. It almost looks like I have on illuminator, and I have not put that on yet, so it's just really pretty. Gives a nice little glow. I really like it. I've had this for like a year, and I never used it, and because I was like, it doesn't show up. But if you add it with your other lip and cheeks, oh, it's good. It's good, it's good. Okay, now I'm gonna get real close here so you guys can kind of see. So this is still visible. It's super dark, so it's going to be visible, unless I demied it. But today I wasn't demiing, so. And this guy is still raised, but I feel like, I mean, it's covered pretty well. I could go in, if I wanted to, back into that wheat with like a little bitty brush, if I can find one. Here we go. Here's a demi brush. Just lightly tap into that. So yeah, there you have it. Then I'm gonna take, what color do I want for my lips? Actually, hold on. I'm gonna do my illuminator, which I forgot. I'm not gonna do my cheeks because they're already glowy. So I'm just gonna hit the end of my nose, that Cupid's bow, because that's so pretty. Then I'm gonna take, you know what? No, I'm not. This is all I'm gonna do. I just wanted to show you, let's just keep this video a color correcting video. That's what we'll do. So I just wanted to show you guys how you can color correct with your 3D foundation. The thing is, our skin has texture. Our skin, you know, is different colors. Our skin is always changing. So you can't cover up some of that, and that's okay. I don't mind my skin shining through. I actually like it because it doesn't look like I'm wearing a mask on my face. When I used to wear NARS before I found Seint, and that was like the 50th foundation that I had tried, and I still did not like how it looked on my skin, but I was like, you know, I guess I'm just gonna have to settle for this because there's nothing else out there. And then I found Seint, and it makes my skin look so pretty and healthy and my actual skin texture shines through. We all have that. Embrace it. It's beautiful. So that's all I wanted to show you guys today. I hope that it's helpful to you, and thank you for watching.